Good afternoon, Keith. Lovely,
Hello.
lovely for you to join me in Crystal Cabin.
No,
I
thank you.
am so pleased that you're happy to have this conversation because it is really important to me to share that it is possible to change your life by changing your thoughts. And it's all very well people listening to me, but you're proof of the pudding. So I thought people can hear it from you and it'll feel real. As even though it worked for me, it's been some time for me, but this has been a journey for yourself. So, right. So I'm going to hand over to you. Keith, do you want to introduce yourself and let everybody know how we met?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Keith. We met just over 2 years ago now, I think. I was looking for someone to help me with what I felt was trapped energy. So I knew I needed some Reiki from someone, and that's how I found you specifically. Prior to that, I'd been on my sort of the start of my healing journey, if you like, for a number of years. I went to the doctors over 10 years ago and was diagnosed with a very little known condition, interstitial cystitis. It's about 90% of cases are female, but some men do get it. There's no known cure, no known cause, and the prognosis is that you'll have it for the rest of your life and it'll just get worse. So I spent a number of years with the medical world receiving all sorts of treatment. All of the treatment was to do with the symptoms, nothing at all to do with the cause, because in the medical world, they didn't know what caused it and they didn't know what cured it. They just tried things. So there was a lot of experimentation. And ultimately, a meeting with the consultant, he said the only course of action he had left was to surgically remove my bladder, which I said, no chance. And I actually said to the consultant, even though you've got years and years of medical training and experience, I know my body better than you. And I just knew that there was nothing wrong. And, well, there was obviously a problem, but there was nothing physically wrong. And that wasn't the way to go. So I started my own journey trying to find out what was really going on. And over a course of time, discovered the connection between the mind and body, discovered a whole horde of people out there who've been diagnosed with this, and also discovered a lot of information which told me that this condition didn't even exist. So I started my journey. I thought when I met you I was well into the my understanding of the mind body, and boy was I wrong. So yeah, it although I felt I knew what I was talking about, my first session with yourself, the Reiki was brilliant, but it all started from there, I guess, with everything that we started working on from then. So yeah, that was just over 2 years ago, I think.
I can't believe it's been 2 years and I can't say the name of that condition that you first came to me with.
Well,
So I think that proves
it's
it doesn't
IC for short,
exist.
and it doesn't. Well, I mean, there has actually been studies done where they tested a bunch of people, like a blind study, people who had this so-called condition and people who didn't. And when the urologists were given the scans, they couldn't tell who had it and who didn't. It's just crazy.
It's amazing. It's an amazing story. And just reflecting as you're speaking
I
on
mean,
the last 2 years journey, if you like, that we've been together. We started with the Reiki, but then, as you say, we got into talking about how the mind works and how that affects your emotions with the mind-body connection. What else did we do? Because you pretty much covered every one of my services. So shall we talk about how that kind of evolved, where we went from the Reiki and so on?
Well, from the Reiki, I think it was pretty clear to you at the start that I was obsessed with finding what the cause was. That was the one thing the medical world weren't doing. And I had this obsession with doing research, and I was digging and digging and digging. So my mind was constantly on the fact that I had a problem.
Yeah.
And you picked up on that straight away, because obviously I'm just keeping the problem there and making it worse, because that's all I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So although doing the research helped in a way, the obsession with it, the constantly thinking about it, that was the first thing you picked up on, which is why we went straight into the law of attraction, things like that. Because the reason my problem was getting worse was because that's my predominant thought. I've got a problem and it's getting worse, because that's all I'd been told since I first went to the doctors, that this will just get worse. And when I started looking back then at the messages I was getting, then it was clear to see how ill-equipped the medical world is for a lot of these conditions, not just mine, but there's loads of others out there. And straight away you basically beat that out of me.
Gently, hopefully.
I used to come and see, yeah. I mean, I was fascinated with the whole area and the whole concept, but being a bit of a techie, I guess, at heart, I wanted to find out the ins and outs. I was looking at the science, quantum physics, and all sorts of stuff, trying to get to the root cause, and that was just making it worse. And I would come to you for a session, and I'd tell you all the things I've been doing, thinking I've been doing great, and you'd say, no, you're still obsessing, you're still digging, leave it all behind. And that was difficult at first, because that was me for the last 10 years. That's how I'd been living, and it had to change, and it has. So we started on that, and that's just simple. Just think differently. I mean, I always say it sounds simple. It is simple, but it's not easy.
That's right.
And yeah, we started with that, and that opened up a whole new world to me of this amazing area. And there can't be any other explanation for what, the reasons why I was the way I was, and it all makes sense. And I've got my own evidence of that with situations I've been in, and what I've done to deal with them. And it's real. What you think about creates your life.
Well, where attention goes, energy flows. So the whole thing that you were describing right from the start was an obsession around keeping it alive by giving it attention and feeding it with energy. So that's what's coming back to me now, listening to you talking about it. Absolutely. When you look in the picture of health today, Keith, so whatever we've done over the last 2 years has made a difference. So it's all mindset.
Absolutely, yeah.
All mindset. You did the emotional freedom tapping too, didn't you? You had quite a lot of success with that until you were really getting into your law of attraction alongside it, but it's all shifting emotions and releasing and letting go. Do you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. And again, at the start, I did my own research after you'd introduced it to me, to try and understand why it worked, what the science was behind it. But I can tell you now, I don't care. I understand what it's doing and how it's rewiring the brain, I guess. But I was obsessed with trying to find out what specific things I needed to tap on to get rid of them. But now I really don't care. What's happened in the past has happened. I can't change it. And if I'm living in the present moment, then it doesn't matter. It's just got no importance whatsoever, and shouldn't be let to rule my life. But yeah, the tapping, the Reiki, they all, I've had, not an episode, but I've had, I don't know the best word to describe it, but with each of these things we've tried, I've felt something pretty significant. Even with the meditation, I remember saying to you one time that I can't actually describe to you what's happening in my meditations now. I can't find the words, and you were like, "Oh, you're on another level now," and that's what it's been. Each of these things has just took me to another level, and if it makes sense, the more I've learned, the more I realise, the less I know. If that makes sense.
Well,
Each level you think, "Oh, I get it now." And it just opens up that much more to you. And the tapping, the way the tapping works is amazing. And all of these things that you provide people, these have been done for thousands of years. And you know, why aren't we all doing them? Well, the reason we aren't all doing them is because back in the 30s, 40s, when the big pharmaceutical companies started emerging and generating loads of money out of various pills, that was it from then on in. They squashed all of this because they can't make money out of it. Pharmaceutical companies are corporations. They are there to make money, not to make people better. So they don't want this around. So it kind of got pushed to the side. Fortunately, there's people like yourself who know about this stuff and know how much it can help people, and are bringing it to people and helping them heal. So
it's the belief.
It's amazing, and it's free essentially once you know how to tap.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. It's the life skill of showing you how to go away and do it for yourself, so that you don't have to keep coming back. I don't profess to be training people how to be therapists, but certainly sharing the skills that I've learned at a level which you can go off and do by yourself and understand and get benefit from, to me is more valuable than keeping it to myself to get my business grow. This is something I really want to share because of the reasons you said. Unfortunately, the medical world haven't really embraced it. I'd like to think now, with all the awareness on well-being and mental health, that things are changing, and especially during COVID, there's a lot of talk about well-being and taking care of yourself and having this time to pause. I don't think it's any accident. The universe and Mother Earth have been conspiring to get a grip of what's been going on, and this is the result of it. So I think we're going to see more sort of holistic therapies being readily available and less woo-woo. There's a bit of a perception of a woo-woo. How do you do Reiki? How does that work? Where is it in a science book that it states that it's tangible? Forget that. Let's just focus on the fact that it does work and it does help and it does heal, and people can carry on their lives with a completely different mindset, believing that they are free from whatever they've been carrying for years and years that's been manifesting as ailments. And so I think you should bring that to attention.
Yeah, that's it.
We think we did some hypnotherapy, but it was more of a recording that you used to take away than face to face, wasn't it? Because I'm just trying to recall our journey, but I don't.
We didn't do one in the session. I think it was actually after the first session. I got an email off you a few days later, and you'd recorded an hour's hypnotherapy for me.
That was it,
which was fantastic,
which
I still use. Because it's, and again, they can be. I used to find in the early days, I'd have a meditation or a hypnotherapy session, and I'd have this quite profound experience. And then the next time I'd deliberately try and recreate it. So I'd be trying to achieve the same thing, and nothing would happen. And I know now, if you're going to meditate, you can't try meditate, because if you're trying to do it, then that implies that you're doing something, and you're not meant to do anything when you meditate. So I know now so I just sit and see what happens.
Just be.
And if nothing happens, then that doesn't mean I've had a bad meditation. There's no good and bad, right or wrong. If you can sit with nothing for a period of time, then you've meditated. Simple as that. The tapping, all you need to do is do the tapping. Think of something that's on your mind. Try and evoke the emotions with those thoughts. And again, you've taught me how that sort of connects together. And then you can tap it, and there is science behind it, but thousands of years you're tapping acupressure points. The Chinese taught us all about them, and it disrupts what's going on in your head. And it's only recent, and that's the thing. You mentioned energy. We've all got our own vibration. So all of these different things you can give people for the toolkit, if you like. Not all of them will work. They will all do something, but that's why the medical world can't grasp this stuff as much as it should, because they can't just give everyone the same thing. They can't just say to everyone, go away and tap or go away and meditate, because everyone's different. But there's something out there that will work for them, and it may be a combination of things, or it may be just one. But it's there. We're all in. We may all have the same condition, but in a way we don't, because we're all unique. We all live in our own reality. You know, what the world we live in is our um, the way we've manifested the world through our own perception, through our own egos. So we're all different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So two people might turn up at your door and say, we've got anxiety, but what they both experience is completely different, but something will work for them.
Yeah.
They've just got to find the right thing.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I say that not one solution will fit all people or all problems, and deliberately have a toolbox so that you can have that
Yeah,
conversation, have the chat, read the energy, pick up on what the issues are, and then be better placed to make a recommendation to suit them individually, the bespoke treatment plan
yeah,
going forward. But it's all
yeah,
energy. At the end of the day, it's all energy, and it's all thought processes.
yeah,
But it's belief. Is when you
yeah,
actually finally click into place and you get it, and there's a belief that it's possible to make that change, you're halfway there, because the mindset shifted. So the vibration of
yeah,
that thought is obviously of a much higher frequency, and it's more open. When you're in flow, everything is aligned, and the signal
yeah,
that you're setting off is, I'm ready to receive, please, give me, I'm open to, ready to receive.
yeah,
So I love
yeah.
listen to you sort of self-diagnosing, actually explaining how it all works, the difference from that first day to today,
Oh
and
yeah,
how you've got so much information that you can use for yourself and for your friends and your family, and share
yeah,
with other people as well. I mean, the research and the films and the books that you've been able to recommend, a much more vast collection than my own. And I love how you send me clips, watch this, oh, I've discovered this, and we share information. What kind of things have you gotten onto, Keith, on this path? Where has it led you? Where are you today?
where am I today? Much happier. Um, you know, it was very dim and dark at the start. You know, I had no future. I was going to have this condition for the rest of my life, and it was, although it wasn't, it was life limiting. You know, it wasn't terminal or anything like that, but it certainly restricted what you could do. But again, that's because I was constantly manifesting it. It was on my thoughts all the time. Now, nothing, and the difference in me physically is massive, and mentally it's massive as well. I mean, I had we had the Christmas break last Christmas, 2nd of January. I went back to work, and at the end of that day, I completely broke down. Um, went to the doctors the next day, and was signed off for a month, which may sound like a drastic time, but first thing you said was you've had a release, and it was huge. And the reason I went pop, as I called it, was that I'd spent most of the Christmas holidays researching, because I had it in my head that I needed to use that time off work to finally get this thing sorted, and come back into the new year. It was coming up to my 50th birthday. There was a lot of milestones coming up, and I
Yeah.
just put too much pressure on myself, and my body just went, no, I've had enough. And from then on, I've been completely different. It sounds a bit throwaway where I just say I really don't care anymore. But in a strange way, I don't care anymore. I'm not obsessing about the past. I know things have happened in my life. There's no significant traumatic event that's caused my subconscious to keep hold of these things and try and protect me, which is ironically what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Um, there's a combination of things, which is just life, and I can't change them. And there's a guy I watch a lot on YouTube, and the way he puts it is that, you know, those things that happened in the past can't have happened any other way. And the reason why you know that for certain is because they didn't.
Yeah.
So just park it. You know, Alan Watts is a great one. You know, that when you're in a boat, the wake behind the boat, the wake does not drive the boat.
Mm.
Um, it's in the past. Just forget about it. It's got nothing to do with where you're going or where you are. So yeah, I don't obsess with the past. I'm very what's the word? I don't know. I don't know what's coming in the future. I used to obsess about it. Will this happen? Will that happen? And the pandemic we're in at the moment is a big test of that. I didn't know it was coming. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's a horrible thing for people to go through. And yes, we've lost way too many people. Mm-hmm. But I'm not obsessing about it. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what the future's going to look like. But again, without sounding flippant, I don't care, because the only thing I can worry about is what's happening right now. So I'm very much focused on now, being in the present moment. Because when you're in the present moment, your mind can't drift off to the past or the future. So you don't get stressed or anxious. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still do it. I've got a lot of stressful stuff going on in work at the moment, but I can say I do not care. I used to get emotionally caught up in it. My thoughts would run away with me. What if the boss says this? What if this happens? What if that happens? That would then generate the emotions, and I'd start feeling anxious and scared and worried. There's big problems going on at the moment. No emotional reaction, no thoughts of doom and gloom. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a bad event that's happened. It's just an event. How I interpret that is down to me, and I'm not jumping on the, oh my god, this is doom and gloom. It is what it is. Just get on with it. And it's a huge relief in a way. It just think, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. And you get all this energy back, because it's hard work.
Being exhausted living through thoughts and fear.
Living in fight or flight constantly takes up all your energy, and it messes with your digestion and your sleep and everything. And you just think, well, I don't even have to do that. And when you get, I'm not 100% doing it all the time, but when I get those periods of, it's such a relief not having to do that, not having to worry about that, just to live normally. And I get those periods more.
Our internet's frozen.
You've got to believe.
Back again. Sorry, we lost you for a little bit there. The internet had a little bit of a wobble, so
you probably missed the most important bit.
Yeah, go back to sort of a paragraph if you can.
So I think I was just touching on the belief thing. You've got to believe. If you've got any doubt whatsoever, your subconscious will pick up.
Oh, you're going again. Let's wait till you come back. Oh, what shame. Blinking technology.
And you mentioned this mind-body connection. And my pain went instantly. And I just stood there crying. It was just a massive, massive moment. But yeah, you have to believe. Don't go in half-hearted. Just, what have you got to lose? People like me, the medical world can't do anything. There's nowhere else for you to go. You've tried everything. So why not? And once you commit to it and do the work, which you have to do.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it is about doing the work, isn't it?
You have to do the work. You can't just sit there and have a session with someone like yourself and then walk away thinking, all right, Michelle's fixed me. It's like, no, you go away then and fix yourself. Like you say, you're showing people what to do, how to do it.
Oh, I've lost you. Flipping internet. Come back to me, Keith.
Medical world. I may have lost you. Or have you lost me?
Yeah, I lost you again. I don't know what's happening there, but we'll continue. I want to talk about the emotional scale just quickly, because when you're talking, it sounds you're in neutral, so you're able to tap into where you are emotionally with a situation and not either spiral down. So it's that tapping in, being able to keep you in a neutral space so it doesn't get out of control. So it's the emotional scale has been key to a lot of the learnings that we've had over the last 2 years, hasn't it? So Yeah. You've obviously got that off to a
Yeah.
T now.
It's knowing where to look. You know, if you feel, and again, that's the key thing. It's all about feeling, because you can have all sorts of thoughts and they just whiz about in your head. If they become stubborn and sit there for a while, eventually that you'll get some sort of emotion come out of that, and then you'll feel something. That's the emotion. So if you're feeling something, then and you're not quite sure what it is, or you don't like it, it's a horrible feeling or whatever,
Yeah.
it's coming from somewhere. So you just need to take a moment and think, right, okay, why am I feeling this? What does it feel like? And then from there backtrack to what thoughts would create this feeling, and then try and figure out what's on your mind, because it may be subconscious, so you may not realize at first, but if you can just sit with yourself for a bit and think, what's been going on in my life, what might I be thinking about, and you'll find it. So if you do that instead of just thinking, oh, I feel get anxious now because I'm worried about something, and just go down that downward spiral, then yeah, you'll just make yourself worse. But if you can catch it early on and think, where did this feeling come from? What am I thinking? Then you can stop thinking that, and off you go.
Choose again. Choose again. A happy thinking thought.
Yeah. Think something else. And again, if you get into the science of it, which I did a bit too much, but you know, some people say it takes more energy to
Create a negative thought.
create.
It
You
does.
know,
Yeah.
it is true. It's harder work to feel bad, but your subconscious mind is used to it and it feels safe there. So that's where it will take you. So it is harder work physically, and it will drain you emotionally. But that's unfortunately where the subconscious likes to be sometimes, because at the end of the day, it's just trying to keep you safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
sounds strange, but it is. So, you know, change is risk. So it'll try and keep you where you are and not let you move on because it's safe. But you just got to fight through that.
It's knowing that it's possible to feel different by thinking something more positive. It's just like a light switch going on. Once you know,
Yeah,
once you're aware, you can't be unaware. So, but it doesn't come
yeah.
overnight, does it? It's like it's not a magic
No,
wand, as you say. There's work to be done. But the more you get into it and you see the shifts and different things manifesting and feeling completely different and in a better place, then that's encouragement and motivation and inspiring to keep you carrying on doing and being aware what you're thinking.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you're telling yourself as well. More often than not, we're self-sabotaging, telling ourselves things and forcing
Yeah.
thoughts into our head. So is that, why am I
Yeah.
feeling like this? Okay, what am I thinking? And worse still, what am I telling myself? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about a couple of people that you like listening to and things that they quote and they say, but you're a big fan of lots of different self-help gurus. Who have you been listening to recently? Or why, maybe not go straight to where you are now, who have you come across on your journey?
Well, there's a whole variety of people, and I've dipped in and out with some. You know, summer flavour of the month, and then when I think I've learned what I needed to learn from them, I don't go and visit them again. As I say, I got rid of quite a few the other day. I think those people can't give me any more where I am on my journey, and that's what it is. It's a journey. But you introduced me to some. Abraham Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay. You know, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that all tell the same story.
Yeah, in their way.
But, and yeah, in their way. And you yourself will pick up on one of these people because of their mannerisms or the way they tell it or what they sound like. There'll just be something. Because I've listened to all sorts of people, and at the end of the day, the more you get into it, the more you realise everyone's telling the same thing, just with their own spin on it. Some people are easier to listen to than others. And once you get into that sort of area, it opens up to all sorts of other people. There's a lot of people Wayne Dyer mentioned from way back when, like Napoleon Hill. And, you know, these guys are fascinating. So you're going back to when these people used to give talks and it was recorded on a vinyl disc.
Yeah,
You know, there wasn't really cassettes back then. But,
I
you know,
remember that too.
There's, yeah, there's some fascinating people out there, and they're all talking about the same thing. You know, the law of attraction. Neville Goddard was another one. Fascinating. You know, these people were back in the early 20th century. Amazing. But yeah, there's all sorts. There's a lot of more modern people. Some people tell the story really well, and I've picked, and again, I've picked the right people up at the right time. Michael Neal is a good one. Peter Crone. They tell it so simply. There's loads out there. But yeah, you'll find them just when you need them, because
That's how the universe works.
again, the last few days, I've been putting YouTube on, or putting a podcast on, or picking up a book, and lo and behold, bang, there's exactly what I needed to know right at that moment.
Yeah.
Because I get this thing, you know, I should listen to that, and there it is. A nice big fat reminder, big slap in the face, you know.
But you notice it. The things is, the universe will give you signs, but if you're not in the now, you miss them. But the point now is that you know exactly where you are on your emotional scale. You're tapped into what's going on in your subconscious.
Yeah, and it starts off slow. Yeah, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. The family are picking up on it now, and they'll mention the odd thing, and I'll say, "See, told you."
Yeah, fantastic.
You know,
So it's had that sort of ripple effect. It's not just helped
yeah.
you, it's helped you and your family as well. Do you know, I'm so proud of you. Listening to you, Keith, honestly, you could teach me a thing or two now with all the books and the YouTube clips and things that you've gone on to discover. But it's obviously doing something right, love, because your energy is absolutely glowing.
It is, and and it's, you know, it's great finding all that stuff online, but at the end of the day, coming up to your cottage and sitting having a bit of Reiki and a chat, that there's nothing better than that, because you can forget everything. You may have a partner or family who don't really understand this stuff or what you're going through, and to be able to sit with someone like you and just be open and talk about everything, that's massive in itself.
Yeah, you give me goose pimples. That's
It
really
really
nice.
is. You can't you can't do that at home in your normal environment. You know, my wife is the complete opposite me. You know, if I say to her, sit and meditate for a bit, she'll be in fit laughter on the floor. There's just no way she can sit still for 5 minutes, let alone 20 or an hour. Complete opposite. She understands what I'm going through. But yeah, you can't sit and be open and talk about it unless you're in a situation like visiting yourself. You know, these people online are great, but you're not sat with them, having a chat with them. You're just listening to them talk about their stuff. And the funny thing is, the majority of them are people who have been through something themselves and have cured themselves. So they're not talking out of a textbook. They've been through it. And there's no better teacher than that, than someone who's gone through it and come through the other side. And the majority of people who do that, the first thing they want to do is share it with others.
Yeah, absolutely. Sharing the love. Yeah. Well, as I say, I'm so proud of you. You've come such a long way, and thank you so much for joining me today in the cabin. Don't think you've ever been in the cabin, have you? All the time you've been coming to the cottage.
No,
You're normally in the therapy room, but COVID has
get the
brought
comfy
me.
settee.
Yeah, in the warmth, in the comfort. I think COVID has just brought me to my little she shed, so that I can have some peace and quiet. But I'm used to being just me in the house, and obviously now everybody's at home. So, but it's great, and I've missed you. I've really missed seeing everybody. So it's actually lovely to be able to have it feels still like
we'll be back soon.
Conversation, and revisited where we've been, and we're great friends now as well, so we can pick up the phone to each other at any time and share information that we've learned.
I just keep sending you emails all the time with watch this and read that, and
it's great. Absolutely love it, and I wouldn't change a thing for the world. I know exactly what you mean. My journey has been an interesting path of my own, and yes, that's why I try and share it with other people, to bring people to the same place of happiness as well. That's where the strapline comes from. You can think and heal yourself happy. I think We both
Yeah.
managed to do that. Well, thank you very much, Keith.
Definitely.
I really appreciate it. I do apologise the internet was dropping in and out now and again, but I think we managed to get the picture. So really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I hope it
No
helps
problem.
other
Thank you.
people. I hope it helps everybody in the group as well. So maybe post a
Yeah,
couple
hope
of things
so.
in the comments below of some of the people that you like listening to, or some of the books that you've read. Everybody's always asking for any book recommendations.
Well, there's a blog I've got with, yeah, I've got a blog with a lot of the stuff on.
Oh,
It
great. Post
started
that.
out as, yeah, I'll put that on. It's sort of undergoing a bit of a change at the moment, because initially it was very much focused on my physical problem and all the pain and all the doom and gloom, and I
Giving all the
completely
attention.
removed all of that.
Yeah.
It was all looking backwards. Now it's all looking forwards. Here's all the good stuff. This is what you need to read and watch and learn. It's, you know, what I was
Working.
diagnosed with was just nonsense. I mean, I got re-diagnosed partway through that anyway. I went back to doctors and said, I've done this research and I think I've got this. So they referred me and examined me and said, yeah, you're right, you have. And I'm like, well,
There you
you
go.
know, I could have gone in and said, I think I've got that. And, you know, there you go. But it just, these fancy words, I mean, it just means there's a bit of tension and inflammation, and that's been caused by years and years of being in fight or flight, fighting something I didn't have to fight because it didn't exist. It was all in my head, and I just perpetuated it. So I've got the residual effects of years and years of muscle tension, which is slowly going away, and it is. It gets easier each day, but I know in my mind it's not a physical problem. It's not an illness or a disease. It's just a bit of tension. So I can relax now and not worry. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to have this lifelong problem. There's nothing wrong with me.
Well done. Absolutely well done.
I am healthy.
I am healthy. Now, how's that for an affirmation to finish on? I am healthy.
That's not the usual one. I am awesome. That's the usual
I
one.
am awesome. I am the universe.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
all
I'm a
true.
big fan. We did a lot on affirmations as well, didn't we? Gosh, we could talk all day, couldn't we,
Yeah.
really? I think probably what we'll do is
Well,
part two.
yeah, because every little thing we've touched on, you could do hours on each one,
Yeah, yeah,
and they would spin off into others. It does. It goes on forever.
yeah. But the law of attraction has actually been the savior, hasn't it? Understanding that the energy that we all have within us.
Oh, it's fascinating. It's fascinating, and you know, I will sit and argue with someone forever if they disagreed with it, because
Because you believe
yeah,
it, because you've manifested it.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely, it
Brilliant.
is. It's everywhere, and if people just open their eyes and just start, you know, just take it in. Don't try and judge anything. Just listen to what's going on. Just feel what's going on, and you'll get it. But everyone's got so much crap that they've accumulated over the years. It just blocks you from seeing it.
From
So you
flow.
just got to strip away all that rubbish, because you've got what you need. It's not that you haven't got it. You've got everything. You just got to strip away all the junk you've picked up over the years, and then you'll see it.
It's lovely hearing you say that. You're advising people like a true coach. Well done, go for it. Yeah. Any emotions or
Well, there's
trapped emotions in the body will always manifest as an ailment. So
yeah,
healing is a fabulous tool to be able to release and let go without having to sit and talk about it and dwell on it. It's amazing experience, quite
yeah,
surreal, but certainly life-changing for me.
yeah,
I think really the healing is my baby, absolutely. And
yeah,
mindset and everything comes with it, but really the foundation is making sure that you've let go, you've released, you've been able to forgive, and then you're open and ready to receive. Then you can do the work. There's
yeah,
less, isn't there? Absolutely.
yeah,
Brilliant. Well,
yeah,
let's get together again, just you and I, and we'll have a look at maybe just focusing on one area at a time and
yeah,
doing
yeah.
the part, if you're happy to do that.
Sounds good.
Great.
Yeah,
Excellent. Well, I know you're on your lunch, so I'll let you go. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Lovely to see
Right.
you.
Thank you. Been a
Take care.
pleasure.
And
All right.
thank you. Okay, let me just